Today I'm going to embark on my first ever camping, biking trip. It's just going to be an overnight trip on the Genesee Valley Greenway Trail. The trail is about 90 miles long, but I'm only going to do the first 40 of it. It's a greenway, thus it's a rail trail, but it's green. It's not paved. It's green and it's brown in spots. I've never really actually ridden on it, so today's the first for me. I'm in Rochester, New York. I'm going to ride 40 miles to Sonyea State Forest and camp overnight, and then do the trip in reverse tomorrow. And the other thing that is very new to me today, other than my first bike camping trip, it's the first time I have a load on my bike. I've got about 25 pounds of gear, camping gear, tent, sleeping bag, some warm clothes, food, water, stuff like that. And it is a little awkward. So here's a pro tip for everybody. When you're on Scottsville Road and you get to a set of railroad tracks, do not keep going on Scottsville Road. There's no signage, but you want to take a right away, 10 feet after the tracks. Get behind the guardrail, and then the trail becomes this beautiful greenery. Of course, I missed that turn because, like I said, there is no sign. I double backed and found my way without too much heartache. But be forewarned, take a right at the railroad tracks, 10 feet past them. And suddenly, just like that, the trail changes again to a stone cinder. There was another spot that was poor signage, but no signage. But I found my way, and you will too. This is not knowing exactly where you're going is what makes these trips so much fun, right? The adventure. So I just checked my phone and it says I'm about 12 miles into this journey, but it's hard to tell where the 40 miles starts because I learned this morning that there is no official start of the Greenway Trail. It just starts in the Genesee Valley Park. There's a bunch of trails in that park, and I think I read that it starts a mile south of the park where it intersects the Empire State Trail, which I did not see, but clearly I'm on the Greenway Trail. It has been so pleasant. There was a section where I was out on a busy road, Scottsville Road, for longer than I should have been because I missed that turn that I told you about earlier. But this is fantastic. If you like quiet riding, the trail it started off bumpy, but the last 5-6 miles have been very smooth and easygoing. Hi. There you go, the pedestrian. I actually did see a biker since I mentioned that I haven't seen anybody. So a biker and a pedestrian. 30 miles to go, roughly, to camp. I have only one worry, and it's minor. I'm going to need some more water. I've got plenty of water for now, but is it going to last 30 miles? I don't know. Where can I get water? I don't know. I did pack a water filter because apparently there's a creek where I'm camping, so I can refuel there. But I'm hoping I can refuel before I get to camp. If I can't, it'll be fine. You know, just another day, another adventure. It's all good. Speaking of pedestrians, I just went through a small town or on the outskirts of it. I think it was Scottsville. Wherever this trail crosses Owatka Creek, that's where I was. And speaking of pedestrians, there were about 20 teenagers there all dressed up in their colorful bathing suits, jumping off the bridge into the creek. And I stopped to look over. It's not something I would do, but I'm kind of a chicken when it comes to heights, admittedly. It was maybe a 20-foot drop into a pretty good pool. It was mostly safe. They were just having fun. And you know what? It's good to see kids outside all day long. They're just on their computers and on their phones. When I was a kid, we were outside playing basketball and baseball and street hockey. You don't see that anymore. But as you can see, the trail has changed quite a bit now for the last couple miles. Instead of the whole thing being cinder all the way across, it's just a single narrow lane. Right now it's dirt, but until just before I turned the camera on, it was cinder, crushed stone, if you will. And there must be a fishing opportunity up ahead, as I just passed a person coming the other way, and they had a fishing pole on their bike. And once again, the trail turns into something else. This is a little more enjoyable. Still haven't found any water yet, but I guess I'm not that concerned about it, because I did see a couple of creeks that I could have stopped and filtered water at. Every time I turn the camera, the road gets bumpy. See, we're back to pure greenway now, as I turn this around for you. I just did pass a kiosk moments ago that has the entire trail map on it, and it said that I was at mile 21. The state forest that I'm camping at is at mile 40, so still a ways to go. I'm not really worried about food. I got plenty of food. I am worried about critters getting into it tonight. More concerned about water. I didn't tell you about parking. I parked at Genesee Valley Park in Rochester, and apparently there's no overnight parking there, but I didn't know where else to park, so I just left my car there. I left a note that said, hey, I'm on the trail, I'll be back sometime midday Friday. Thank you. I hope they're forgiving. Still about 15 miles to go to camp, and this looks like a delightful spot to sit in the shade. And I'm not gonna lie, folks, 40 miles on a greenway is a lot harder than 40 miles on a road, because I am starting to feel it. So I must be 25 miles into the trail, which means I'm 30 miles into my ride, because I spent about 5 miles trying to find the trailhead, excuse me, which turns out doesn't actually exist. I am tired, I gotta tell you. I'm gonna make it though, and then I'm gonna find some water and have some dinner, and I brought a book. I'm gonna read my book and sleep in my tent. I always sleep so good in a tent. People hate sleeping in tents, especially my age, my friends, most of my friends don't really enjoy it anymore. I have a few still. I love it, and it hasn't rained here in a month. It is not lost on me that there are vultures circling overhead. But anyway, it hasn't rained in a month. The creeks are really dry, the vegetation's wilted. It's probably not going to rain tonight, so I'm thinking leave the fly off. I can see the stars, and maybe shoo off any critters that try to get into my food. I'm going to sit here for a few minutes before I get going. Now the trail is truly a greenway. It's been nothing but grass for a good mile. I am just past Kylerville and maybe 6 miles from Mount Morris, for those of you that know where those places are. I've got about 9 more miles to get to camp, but this trail is very bumpy. Your broadcaster is very tired. He did find another bottle of water hidden in a bag. I made it to camp, 48.4 miles from where I started this afternoon. And I am tired. I know I'm always telling you guys to hit the pedals, but I for one am glad I do not have to hit the pedals. anymore. But that's the Greenway Trail in a nutshell. The last 10 miles, there were a couple sections. There was a section before Mount Morris and a section after Mount Morris that I did not enjoy. It hasn't rained here in a month, and the trail was just very bumpy and hard, and I was bouncing all over the place. And maybe that's why I have a headache. But yeah, I think that's it. If you have questions, let me know in the comments. I'll help you out as best as I can. This forest, this is real forest. Like, it's gonna get dark tonight. If I was a bear, I would live here. Good morning, folks. I survived the night. Most of my food did. I heard some critters way off in the distance. I think a fox and a coyote, but I never heard anything in camp. The only thing that didn't survive was maybe the one thing that I wanted the most, my apples. They took the apples, but nothing else. Never heard a thing. I already walked down to the creek this morning. Kind of annoying to have to walk so far to get my water, but I reminded myself that today is Friday and most people are working, and I got to spend the morning walking through this beautiful forest. So it's all good. Camp is packed up. I picked up a bunch of garbage. I did not get everything, but I got a lot of the stuff. I definitely left the place better than how I found it. And that's what we should all be doing, right? Leave everything we run into better than we found it. I am tired, but also anxious to hit the pedals. So that's what I'm going to do in just a moment here. I hope you guys are all having a good day. Have a good weekend, and hit those pedals.